Angels. I've never believed in them. People say they send you signs. Feathers appear. I've always thought it was just coincidence. They say you can ask angels for help. Whether you believe in them or not, when you're desperate, you'll try anything. As a kid, I didn't know much about him. All I knew was that he'd gone mad. People get ill. No one can help anything that's beyond their control, and the mind's no different. I walked the rabbit trail many times with my dad. He spoke about his brother with a real sense of sadness. Uncle Phineas was easily hurt. Fragile was the word my dad used. Phineas was going to ask his girl, Emily, to marry him. He didn't want anyone to spoil his proposal, so he told no one except his sister, because he wanted her to crochet a little rabbit and make it a sack to hold the ring in. You see, Emily loved rabbits. They hid the rabbit from the rest of the family so no one would find out. He had planned to propose here at sunset. As he reached into his pocket for the rabbit, Emily grabbed his hand and said yes before she'd even seen it, let alone the ring. It seemed his sister couldn't keep the secret. With a bruised ego and a temper, he told Emily that he would never marry her now. He spent the night at the pub. He was young and immature. He didn't mean it. Only Emily didn't know that. 2 days later, they found her, drowned. Devastated, Phineas disappeared into the woods and slept rough. When he returned 10 days later, Dad said he was unrecognisable. A rumour had begun saying that he'd never intended to marry her at all. But Phineas had proof. He reached into his pocket for the ring, but it wasn't there. He'd lost it. But his sister knew he had the ring. What I was told next made my blood run cold. His sister denied any knowledge of the ring and said that she'd never made the rabbit. Dad said Phineas's love for his sister died that day. He was obsessed with finding the lost rabbit. He became withdrawn, broken, and more fragile. My uncle spent his final years in an asylum and went to his grave without ever finding the rabbit. It had become known as the Rabbit Trail, a whole mile of woods and paths, ravaged by time. What are the chances of it surviving the forces of nature? Maybe it's been found, or maybe, just maybe, it's still out here. People said it was searching for the rabbit that drove him mad. Some said it was the guilt. I believe it was his sister. She destroyed his fragile soul. Family betrayal is the most painful thing ever. I know. It's enough to send you to the brink of madness. I walk the rabbit trail to keep sane. I can forget about them here, forget what they've done. I focus on the beauty. There are moments when I look at all this, I wonder if there could be something else. I wonder if Phineas follows me through the trails. If I keep looking, then at least there will be one person who cared about him. For some reason, I felt compelled to go and see the house where he grew up. An elderly man came out, and when I began to tell him about my uncle, he stopped me. He had tears in his eyes as he told me what he'd witnessed 70 years ago. The elderly man, a child back then, was playing hide and seek behind some coats when he saw a hand take out of Phineas's coat pocket a tiny rabbit. It was Phineas's sister. She threatened that he'd be in serious trouble if he ever told what he'd seen. She told him to go and hide the rabbit. He hid it in a dry stone wall beyond the nettle meadow. He had no idea how important it was to tell someone. Later, she made him go back for the ring. As for the rabbit, he'd left it hidden in the wall. He hoped the rabbit would still be there for me. The wall stretched for a long distance. The man couldn't remember where he'd hidden it. I searched for days, my heart sinking every hour. They say you can ask angels for help. I hope he can see this. I hope it brings him some peace.